Good evening, everyone. Today we'll be discussing a case. It's an obese male who's hypertensive, who's posted for emergency appendicectomy, and the case will be presented by Dr. Silky Agarwal. So, Silky, let's start the case.
Hello, good evening, everybody. The case today I'm going to present is on an obese male, hypertensive, and posted for emergency appendectomy under the guidance of Dr. Gargi Deshpande. Ma'am, thank you so much. The patient profile. He's a 36 years old male patient, shopkeeper by profession, and resident of Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. Came with chief complaints of pain abdomen since the last 2 days. The patient is a known case of hypertension since the last 1 year. History of presenting illness. The patient was apparently all right until 2 days ago when he developed sudden onset pain abdomen. The pain was localized to the right iliac fossa, stabbing pain in nature, and it was non-radiating. It aggravated with movement but had no relieving factors. The pain was associated with nausea and vomiting. No history of fever, frequent urination, or burning micturition. There was no history of diarrhea, weight loss, or fatigue. Past history. Patient is a known case of hypertension since the last 1 year. He's on tab telmisartan 40 mg, taking once every day, compliant with treatment. No history of drug intake like steroids, SNRIs, amphetamines, or immunosuppressants like tacrolimus. No history of oliguria. No history of headaches, palpitations, or tremors. There's no history of weight gain, fatigue, muscle cramps, or easy bruising. No history of stroke, myocardial infarction, renal failure, or blurring of vision. No history of diabetes, asthma, or tuberculosis. No past surgical history. Personal history. He has decreased appetite since the last 2 days. Sleep is normal. No history of any addiction is seen. Bowel and bladder functions are normal. On general examination, the patient is conscious, oriented to time, place, and person. He is well nourished, of obese build, with a BMI of 35.8 kg per meter square. No pallor, icterus, cyanosis, clubbing, lymphadenopathy, or pedal edema is seen. Pulse is 86 beats per minute, regular, normal volume. All peripheral pulses are palpable. No radial or radiofemoral delay is seen. Blood pressure is 136 by 82 mm of Hg in the right arm, measured in the sitting position with a standard cuff. Respiratory rate is 14 breaths per minute, and it is regular in nature. The patient is afebrile on examination with an SpO2 of 98% on room air. Airway assessment. Nose, no crusting, discharge, or deformity is seen. The patient is a Malampatti Grade 3. Mouth opening is 3 fingers. Thyromental distance is 6 centimeters and sternomental distance is 11.5 centimeters. Neck circumference is 45 centimeters. Neck movements are mildly restricted. Dentition is normal and there is no spine deformity. Systemic examination, cardiovascular system, inspection, no precordial bulge or visible pulsations, no scars, sinuses, or dilated veins. Apex beat is not visible. On palpation, apex beat is felt in the 5th left intercostal space, mid-clavicular line, normal in position and amplitude. No parasternal heaves or thrills are seen. Percussion, cardiac dullness is within normal limits with no evidence of cardiomegaly. Auscultation, S1 and S2 are heard clearly, normal in intensity, and there are no additional murmurs. Respiratory system. Respiratory rate is 14 breaths per minute and it is abdominothoracic type. Trachea is central. Chest movements bilaterally equal. Breath sounds are vesicular with no added sounds and no signs of respiratory distress. Gastrointestinal system. Abdomen is soft with localized tenderness in the right iliac fossa with guarding present. There are no palpable masses, no organomegaly. Bowel sounds are normal with no visible distension. Central nervous system. Patient is conscious, alert, and oriented to time, place, and person. No focal neurological deficits. GCS is 15. Higher mental functions are intact. On summary, the patient is a 36 years old male, obese, hypertensive, and is posted for appendicectomy. Comorbidities are systemic hypertension, which is controlled on medication, and obesity. Anticipated difficult airway, yes, because the patient is a Malampatti grade 3. ASA grading is 2. Provisional diagnosis, query acute appendicitis.
Okay, Silky. Before going ahead with the investigations, it's clear that this patient is hypertensive for the past 1 year. Go back to your summary.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you have examined. Okay. You have even asked the symptoms. You have asked some negative history also. So do you think that something is missing in this summary? Something which is related to hypertension that you need to rule out in every patient of hypertension? End
Ma'am,
organ damage.
yes, ma'am.
So obviously end organ damage will be confirmed with investigations, but depending upon your examination as well as depending on your negative history or the findings on the negative history, you can add a line that with no signs of end organ damage, but obviously you would like to confirm that with your investigations.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go back to your negative history wala slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this one. Okay. So can you tell me the significance of taking every history?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, here I was trying to rule out causes of secondary hypertension, considering that this male is a young male with hypertension.
Mhm.
I wanted to see if if he's a case of essential hypertension or secondary hypertension. So, ma'am, with oliguria, I was trying to rule out any renal causes if present.
Hmm.
And with headaches, palpitations, and tremors, I also wanted to see for hyperthyroidism, if thyrotoxicosis could be a case. And also, in case of ma'am, any glucocorticoid Cushing syndrome or ma'am, there also we could get headaches or palpitations. Even in cases of pheochromocytoma, this could be the presentation.
Okay.
Then, ma'am,
Anything? Yeah. Go on.
ma'am, for weight gain, fatigue, muscle cramps, or easy bruising is seen in a case of Cushing's, which could and be another cause for secondary hypertension. And then, ma'am, for stroke, MI, renal failure, or blurring of vision, ma'am, this is where I was trying to see if patient had any end organ damage or any associated comorbidities.
Right. So both are important. That hypertension induced damage, and if there's any cause of hypertension, which is not that it makes it secondary hypertension. So can you please define hypertension for me?
Ma'am, hypertension is defined as where the BP, where an elevated BP is associated with risk of cardiovascular disease. Ma'am, hypertension is when the BP is elevated beyond 140 by 90 mm of Hg.
Yes. So the hypertension is basically elevation of blood pressure. There are different definitions to it depending upon different guidelines. But what we follow is the eighth report of JNC, that is Joint National Committee. So JNC 8. I'll be sharing the classification and the management of hypertension with you later on. But that defines that the blood pressure, if it is more than 140 by 90 millimeters of mercury, in the age group below 60 years, and if the age is more than 60 years and if the BP is more than 150 by 90, because obviously systolic hypertension is more common in elderly, as you age, the systolic BP increases. So that is why JNC 8 has defined hypertension as the BP more than 140 by 90 in the age group below 60 years and BP more than 150 by 90 in the age above 60 years. So that is the actual definition of hypertension. And which is more common, essential hypertension or secondary hypertension?
Ma'am, essential hypertension is more common with about 80% people
Yeah,
coming in this
right.
score.
And primary cause is genetic.
Yes, ma'am.
Genetic of essential hypertension. Okay. Have you taken any family history of this patient?
Ma'am, I forgot to mention it
That's
here, but
good.
I did take
That's
that.
good. Yeah. But it's better you take for every case. Doesn't matter if even if it has a genetic cause or not, but you have to take the family history of every patient.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. You can go to your general examination.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you mean by a standard cuff? Standard BP cuff,
Ma'am, a standard BP cuff where the length of the BP cuff is more at least 80% of the mid-arm circumference.
right?
And then the width of the BP cuff has to be at least 40% of the mid-arm circumference.
Yes. Otherwise, there will be either overestimation or underestimation depending upon the size of the BP cup. Okay. What do you think? What is the effect of hypertension on cardiovascular system, and why do we emphasize so much on cardiovascular system in hypertension?
Ma'am, from an anesthesia point of view, ma'am,
No, the pathophysiological effects on cardiovascular system.
Ma'am, on cardiovascular system, ma'am, the early effects include widening of